If you can master this one aspect of life, I can guarantee that you will have a better sex life, better relationships, better health, better self mastery, and just be better in every aspect of your life. Welcome back to another episode of the Be Better podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Orr. I'm a father, husband, coach, owner, and creator of Primal Energies, and it is my mission to help people live to their highest potential because I believe that if we can have higher potential humans, we have higher potential parents, which raise kids with higher potentials. And when we're all living at their highest potential, then there's not a single person that doesn't benefit except for maybe Big Pharma, but fuck those guys. I've helped almost 500 people to achieve optimal health and be better parents, partners, leaders, business owners, all that stuff. And I'm now sharing all the lessons, experiences, both personally and from coaching all those people with you so that you can have the lesson without the scar. In this episode, I want to talk about a tool that has been fundamental in my development, my growth, both physically in my health, but also in my emotional intelligence, my emotional control, in terms of my mental health, my mental regulation, my ability to self check and to reflect, and also in a lot of the clients and the people that I've coached and helped in how it's helped them to change their state so that they can make better decisions, they can be more present, they can have better health, and just live better, live longer. And I want to find a way to change this term because I hate this term and I know it because it comes with so many connotations and I don't feel like it's even accurate. And the term is breathwork, right? When we use breathwork as that blanket term for every aspect of like conscious breathing, when in fact I don't think breath work is the right name. Like I feel like there's some styles which would fall into breath work, but as a whole, I think it's more like breath application because styles of breathing, when you're conscious of how you breathe, you have an awareness to that breath. Whether you're sitting at home by yourself, you're about to send a big email, launch a huge ads campaign with the business, or you're about to have a really tough conversation with someone that means a lot to you, or you're in the gym or on the sporting field, you're about to perform, or you're performing, trying to regulate your breath, your heart rate, so that you can stay centered, stay focused, stay in that optimal performance, in that flow state, then your breath is the biggest dictator to all those things and they're all going to be varying styles of breath work or breath application. See, I'm conditioned to using that term, but how we use our breath. And most of us take it for granted because it's part of that autonomic nervous system, which gets taken care of without our consciousness. It lies just like our heartbeat, just like our digestive system, just like all these other functions within our body that don't take that conscious energy. But when you can bring a new level of awareness and then consciousness to that breath, you can change it to change your heart rate, to change your physical, like your energetical state. Like, if think about how powerful this is. A lot of us feel like when we're in certain emotional states, where we're frustrated, we're angry, we're upset, we're in this highly emotional state, we don't really feel in control. And we often make bad decisions. We say things or do things that we don't often mean. We later end up regretting. But imagine if you had a tool that could calm your nervous system, calm you down from that state, bring you back to neutral, help you think clearer, help you feel better, help you then to decide on what action, if any, to take. Or if you're in that conversation with a partner or a loved one or in a difficult conversation, help you to find the right words to have that conversation with compassion, with understanding. Imagine how different the outcome is going to be. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation where maybe it's good if you've got contrast. Like, sometimes you've been in these conversations where you've just reacted emotionally. Like you haven't tried to control anything. You've just said the first thing that came to your mouth, which is obviously, or not obviously, which is usually not very nice. It's very reactive. It's very victim blame game pushing around. And how does that work? It we usually escalate, right? Unless one of us is going to be the bigger person and take this and change the direction. If we're yelling at each other, throwing insults at each other, and this is escalating, the chance of us having a civilized, constructive conversation, coming to an agreed solution or conclusion, is not very high. But if you've got the consciousness or the awareness to slow your heart rate, slow your breath down, control your breath, stop those emotions from getting out of control, regulate it down, you can hear or you can feel what the other person is saying. And I want to emphasize, I meant that for a reason. You can feel what the other person is saying, not just hear what they're saying. You can feel what they're saying. Because when you can feel what someone is saying, you're essentially listening between the lines. You're reading between the lines of, I know they're getting upset right now about something that's quite trivial, but what are they really trying to communicate? Maybe they're really trying to communicate that they don't feel respected, that they miss you and they just want you at home, or that they don't feel like they're a priority, or there's something deeper that is on their mind that's impacting them that they haven't been able to or found a way to express yet, that they haven't felt heard, that has caused this. And when you have that level of awareness to then be able to address that in a calm, in a neutral, in a controlling way, not in a controlling as a controlling that person, but in you controlling your state and the conversation to a more constructive direction, then especially as a man, your woman will feel a hell of a lot safer around you because she can throw all that crap at you and know that you're not going to take it personally. That you can sit there, you can find what she's really trying to say, and then the more that you're able to have those conversations, then that's going to help her to find better ways to express herself, to think, to have that awareness in herself. Oh, I don't really care that he left the dishes out again, but it's the fact that I've had to ask him so many times, or it's the fact that he's doing this other thing that's annoying me that I haven't communicated yet. Like that communication is massive. And so we've gone on a tangent. This wasn't going to be about relationships and communication, but controlling that breath. Because when we are in those heightened states, whether it's from a communication, a relationship, or sorry, conversation, or it's from the gym, or it's from other sources, stress sources of stimulus, the faster you can bring yourself back down to neutral, the better you can make decisions, the faster you can recover, and then the more that you can go again, right? When it comes to wanting to go again in terms of like physical performance in gym, things like that. Because our heart rate and our stress levels are not supposed to be spiked and stay spiked. They're supposed to go up and then be able to come straight back down, right? Back to neutral. Like there's a book by Robert, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. It was called "Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers," and the story there is like when you look at animals, specifically zebras as well, they'll just be out in the plains just munching on this grass, and then a lion or a predator will appear, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, run!" They'll dodge, they'll jump, they'll get out of the way, like high stress levels, fight or flight response in full force, and running, sprinting, just trying to stay alive, and then they just gone. Maybe it got old mate or it saw another prey, it's gone. Threat is gone. And then they'll do this shake, this full shake of their body, and it's their nervous system shaking to regulate, and then back to eating grass like nothing happened. And they're able to drop back like that. And that's essentially a sign of A, an optimal nervous system, and B, optimal cardiovascular, like heart health as well. So whether you apply this to your physical performance in the gym and training, or just in terms of like your nervous system, stress regulation when it comes to outside of those physical performance realms, then being able to control your heart rate, bring it back down to baseline, has huge benefits everywhere. But you can also use the breath for the opposite. If you're feeling a little bit sluggish, you've got brain fog, you're feeling a little bit tired, you're not feeling up for the workout, you're not feeling up for, this deep focus effort that you've got for work, these meetings, or this conversation that you've got coming up, you can use the breath to bring you up as well, to hyperoxygenate your brain, your cells, your body. It'll also help to increase that energy, increase that focus, increase that hyper awareness. And so by self-inducing almost that stress, it's a completely different experience to having that stress increased through external sources. And so a simple way to think about these two changes, because you probably think, okay, cool, this sounds like it might have some merit to it. How do I actually implement this? How do I think about this? And so the easiest way to think about this, whether you want to go up or down, it's just as simple as this. If you are up, like you're highly emotional, you're highly stressed, you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you're whatever, you're up and you want to come back to neutral, you want to calm yourself down. You want to focus on the exhale. Making your exhale longer than your inhale is going to help regulate your nervous system, engage your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest state, and calm everything down. Because every breath we take is a balance between stress and relaxed. Inhale is like your body work, your sympathetic nervous system, so your stress response working to bring air in, and then exhale is slowing it down. If you ever watch your heartbeat and just focus on those two, your heart will speed up when you inhale and it'll slow down when you exhale. So the more that you can focus on that exhale, even if it's just you don't need to worry about timing or anything else. As long as your exhale is longer than you'll gradually to calm that nervous system, slow that heart rate down, bring it back to baseline. Then, if you're wanting to come up, the inverse, focus on the inhale. So most people have heard of Wim Hof breathing. Sharp inhale, relaxed exhale. So there's no effort on the inhale. It's just a sharp inhale and then fall. It's just relax and let the air fall out. And so you repeat that multiple times. So you usually do 30 of those breaths and then a breath hold for as long as you can, and then do that 3 to 4 times. That is going to put you in a hyper alert state, an energized state, to go have your workout, go smash those meetings, go smash that work task without needing caffeine or stimulants or sugar or anything like that. That's going to compromise your sleep, your calories, your health habits in general. A pretty awesome tool. The deeper layer to that is nasal versus mouth breathing. Most of the time, ideally, we want to be breathing through our nose as often as possible. The only time we should really be breathing through our mouth is like when you're at max effort exercise, when you're literally trying to suck it in. But most of the time, as much as possible, breathing through your nose. Because our nose is what's designed to breathe. Like it has filters in there to clear out the air, to control the temperature of the air going down to our lungs so we can absorb more of the oxygen. It like I said, it filters everything out. It We can absorb, I think it's like 20 to 30% more oxygen when we breathe through our nose than through our mouth. So if you have trouble with that, just practice keeping your lips closed, keeping your lips together as often as possible to make that the default behavior. So you can get that mouth tape. Don't worry about like all those brands trying to sell you specific mouth tape that they charge stupid amounts for. Go to your chemist warehouse or your Priceline, whatever it is, and literally you can buy it's like a couple bucks. Micropore tape. Put a small strip over your lips when you go to sleep at night. That's just going to act as a cue to keep your lips together, to start to force your body to breathe through your nose. And then, just like the other habits that we've spoken about, the more that you can make that the default setting, the more you're going to be sitting in that rest and digest state more often. And that's where we want to be sitting. We want to be sitting in that rest and digest, that neutral state, like 80+% of the time throughout the day. We want to save that high stress, that high response, fight or flight response for when we're in the gym or physically performing, or we've got something, a source of stress that we need then and there. And then it's like a sledgehammer. It's like stress, bang, done, sorted, over. Okay, cool. Back to neutral. control the breathing, focus on the inhale, and then we're good. And then you go about the rest of your day. You're back in that control, calm, centered seat. We're not stressing out, taking ages and ages to get back to that state. So that's ideally where you want to be sitting. And so now, when you've got those tools, you can think about, okay, where can I use these in my day? How can I use these to be better? One way that I suggest to people is to just bring an awareness to your breath. Like right now, without changing, and it's hard to do it without changing your breath, but just bring an awareness to your breath and notice where you breathe. Do you naturally breathe through your nose or through your mouth? Does it fill your chest or does it expand your belly? Is it shallow or is it deep? Which one is longer, your inhale or your exhale? And so when you start to identify these little pieces, you start to get clues of like, oh wow, like I'm usually breathing through my mouth into my chest and it's quite shallow actually. And take a stab in the dark, you're probably also highly stressed, maybe anxious or highly irritable, probably got a pretty stressed out nervous system, maybe you're not sleeping the best either. And then when you look at these factors, then trying to get optimal results in the gym or with your body or perform at your best or just be at your best, well, you're already starting from behind the eight ball. Coming from a place of neutrality where you're breathing through your nose, expanding that diaphragm, slow and controlled breaths. Then when things happen in life, you can see them for what they are rather than being reactive to them and taking them personally. And then the phrase that I aspire to as a father, as a husband, as a leader, is being the lighthouse in the storm. So when there's chaos, there's crazy things going on, you're the one that's able to stand tall, hold your own, not be phased, and then decide on the course of action and lead people through that storm. And being able to do that starts with being able to control and lead yourself, then resorting to the breath in those times of high stress. Okay, what state do I need to be in for this? Do I need to be up to to lead people through this? Do I need to be up higher than my current state? Okay, hype yourself up, control. Okay, this getting out of hand, stress, getting high, emotions getting high. This is like, okay, this is not getting helpful. Helps you to be hyper present as well. And so if you're a parent or a partner or you're someone that has, wants to improve their connections with people, the best way that you can do that is just be present with people. And they can tell when you're not present, when you're thinking about an email that you need to send or this thing that you need to do later or something else is still on your mind and you're not truly there in that conversation. They can really tell. But bring that breath back massively helps that ability to be present. And so I'm going to wrap this up here. This was a bit of a teaser, a bit some of the information that I've used, that I've like passed on to my clients, that has helped them understand their breath first and foremost. Because once you understand something, you understand the principles of how something works, it becomes a lot easier to A, to implement, B, to rationalize why you should as well. Because I don't know about you, but I like to know, well, if someone's suggesting something, how is it going to help me? Why should I be doing this thing? That's just my brain anyway. But then also, when you do hear about tools, maybe I'll share tools in the future, or I will share tools in the future, or you hear from someone else about different styles of breath work, it can make sense because now you know the fundamentals of how to bring yourself down, how do you bring yourself up, how to level yourself out, and then how to use it for physical performance, for better emotional connection, for better presence and self-awareness, for all these things. And so starting very soon, I'll be running workshops both in person and online on breath application and implementing this so that you can help to change your state and then shift your performance, optimize your life from every standpoint using that as the catalyst to then divert your resources, being time, energy, and money, to the biggest leverage opportunity so that you can live your best life. If that sounds at all appealing to you, then comment on this, send me an email so that I can keep you in the loop when things are going to come up. Otherwise, stay tuned. But now you've got the information, you've got the practical application. Don't be sorry, be better. I see you in the next episode. Bye.